All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Summer Nights mini crop. My name is Jennifer Wilson, and I am the owner of Simple Scrapper, your place to have a hobby that fills you up and fits your life. We're all about keeping it simple and finding ways to customize your memory keeping practice so that it's always fun and easy and fulfilling, and of course, that you're getting your photos and your pictures documented. If you could pop into the chat box wherever you are on whatever kind of device, if you can find the chat box, please pop in and let me know that you can hear me, and we will get started in just a second. I am so excited about tonight's live free crop because our members have grown to love these crops so much. And I'm going to tell you all about the types of things that we do at these crops, and I'm going to be creating live with you tonight. I've got some things prepared over here for you. I'm going to make a full layout in real time, and we're going to go through my 8 steps to a finished layout. I've got them underneath the paper here, so you can work step by step along with me. I tend to follow the same process again and again for every single page. Doesn't matter what size it is, whether it's a pocket page or a full layout. I tend to follow the same steps again and again, and that's just one of the ways we like to simplify things here at Simple Scrapper. Oh goody, we've got Deborah here, we have Natalie and Galen and Wendy and Tiffany, Libby, Deborah, Pat, Becky, yay! I'm so excited that we have folks here tonight. Now, the one thing that I want you to take away from this, or to really bring to it tonight, is that I want you to be creating along with me. Now, I understand if you're somewhere far away and you don't have access to your supplies, of course, just sit back and relax. But if you do have access, then I want you to get your stuff out. I want you to start touching it and really get into the groove, because that's what these live crops are about. It's like we're all in the same room together, creating, like if we were in a hotel ballroom somewhere or in a cottage in the woods. We're all together creating and enjoying our scrapbooking hobby. So again, I am so excited to be here with you guys tonight. A couple things I want to start off with. We've been talking about, if you've been reading the Simple Scrapper emails, we've been talking about playful productivity, and that's kind of the theme of this month. And because this summer, it's the summertime here in the US, and it's all about play and all this play and adventure that our families have. But how can we bring that same vibrance and excitement back to our hobbies, particularly when we don't have a lot of time for it? We're off taking lots of pictures and making memories, but we tend to have even less time in the summer than we do other times of the year. Now, I know all of you who work in the school setting are the big exception to that, and this is your time to scrapbook. But for those of you who are more adjusting to the summer schedule, I really want to talk about how when you take this sense of playfulness and bring it to your hobby, you can kind of kick that energy up a notch. And it's about doing little things in fun, new ways, such as following the 8 steps I'm going to talk about tonight, even just attending this crop. It's about pushing yourself just baby steps out of your comfort zone to make it a little more fun so that you can get that productivity in when you can. Because if you're already in that fun spirit, you don't want to break that down and push that aside to dig back into something that may be heavy or long or overwhelming. We all have projects like that, projects that we absolutely love and want to finish, but they're a lot of work. They require a lot of thinking and photo finagling and lots of supplies and getting everything out. And summer is for lightness. It's for doing things quickly, doing things with just more fun and energy. And that's what I hope to do here this month at Simple Scrapper, and that's why we're kicking it off with this mini crop. And yeah, I have lots of things I want to tell you while we get going, but I will going to change the camera here in a second. But I do want to ask if you have any questions for me. And at any time, please do pop in the chat box with any questions you have. But I want to know, anybody have any questions about what we're doing here or what we do at Simple Scrapper? I would love to know if you're already a member. If you could pop in the chat box and share that, that'd be great. And if you're curious about the membership, then say, I'm curious about the membership and I'd like to hear more. So I just want to hear kind of the breakdown of who we have here tonight with us. And again, welcome to those of you just joining us. Many of you guys already know me, but I'm Jennifer Wilson, the owner of Simple Scrapper, and I'm just so delighted to be here with you guys tonight. So let's switch that camera. All right, let's see if we can get things out of the way here. Try to make sure I can still type when I have to. Drink here. Did you guys know that they now make Crystal Light with stevia, and I've really been enjoying that, and I have a bunch of different flavors. Tonight I have like tangerine mango here, but I've had a bunch of the different flavors, and they are super, super yummy. All right, so some of you may have been to an event we had, I guess it was last month, maybe early last month, and it was all about creating a micro kit or a mini kit for your layouts. And I want to kind of use that same sort of process of how I go step by step through putting together my layout. And the reason we do this is because sometimes you can get stuck in the process. Sure, you know how to scrapbook, you know how to make a page, but sometimes you can just get stuck and not be sure what to do next, or you're not sure how to fit it all together. And so I like to think of this in terms of layers, and you'll see that as we go through this tonight. And I'm going to be sharing how I work through each layer and how it comes together on the page. All right, so first off, of course, we have our photos. Now that's the foundation of scrapbooking here. And what I did is, first I thought I might want to scrapbook some recent photos. I just got back from a trip to California, but I realized I haven't had a lot of time to go through those. And I also feel like I'm a little out of the groove of my scrapbooking. And so I wanted to pick something a little bit older. So I just popped over 1 year back, July 2017, and I found these photos from 4th of July last year. And so I thought that'd be perfect. We've got that coming up. I'm kind of already in that, 4th of July spirit. It'll be great to go ahead and scrapbook that event from last year. And so what I did is I selected my 4 photos and printed them on 4x6 photo paper, and then started cropping them down with these small white borders. So my first step here is to finish cropping those. And I've got this little, let's see, put this here maybe. If you guys can see this. Hello. There we go. All right. So I have this really super tiny 4x6 Fiskars trimmer, and it's super handy for cropping photos. It's so portable. It's guillotine style. It is super sharp, but super handy for cropping photos and for cutting down 6x6 papers. So if you're a card maker, this is the perfect size. But I'm not a card maker, and I love this for working on layouts. So there I have my first border cut, and then I'm just going to cut about the same border on each one. And so I'd love to know what is your favorite paper trimmer. I have a couple of them. I have the regular traditional big orange Fiskars trimmer with the round blade style. I don't love it, but it's fine. I have a giant the self-sharpening blade kind over on the other side of my room, but I find myself using it less and less because A, it's usually covered up with stuff, and B, I have to get up, and why would I do that when I'm scrapbooking here at my table? So we do have, let's see, Veronica's a member in here, and Alice is a member, Wendy, Natalie, Pat, Deborah, fantastic. So glad to see so many members here tonight. All right, I'm just trying to trim these up to get them even. For photos with borders, I totally eyeball it, trying to get it straight. Not perfect, but good enough. I'm all about good enough when it comes to my scrapbooking. Let's see. Libby has 2 different cutter pillars. I've heard those are good. So if you are creating along with me tonight, I would love to know what you are working on tonight. I had put in my email that I thought I might be working on 6x8, but as I said, I kind of felt just more inclined to do something from a previous year, and that's what I ended up doing here. So I've got my photos, got 4 photos from 4th of July last year. Pretty kind of already clear. I'm probably going to do something related to a grid. Not quite sure how it's going to come out yet, but by doing these square photos, that seemed kind of the natural inclination. I do use Lightroom to manage, edit, and print my photos, and they have this really handy print feature that allows you to print multiple images on one canvas, whether that canvas is a 4x6 print or something much, much larger. And I use that all the time to print these small square photos, whether they're Instagrams or not, and to print photos really of any just different custom sizes. All right, so we'll put those aside for just a second. And now we'll go into item number 2, and that's your foundation. And so I'm starting with photos because that gives me an idea of, okay, what kind of real estate am I going to need? So I have 4 really small photos here. I could do a 6x8, but I decided that I'm going to do an 8.5 by 11 tonight. A little too small for 12 by 12, I think. But I always start with kind of what I want to do with the photos, and then I pick the foundation next so that I can make sure I have enough space. All right, so we've got 8.5 by 11, and I love my white cardstock. This is American Crafts Textured White. This is totally my go-to. I buy it like by the case, and I have so many pages on this just because it is just one of my favorite cardstocks. I find that photos and supplies pop more when we're on white cardstock, and I like the end result more. My second favorite is light colored craft, but white and cream are definitely my tops, and white definitely is absolute number one. Oh, let's see here. Wendy's working on a traveler's notebook. Natalie's working on some photo processing. Veronica's working on some crafting business tasks. Awesome. So glad to see you guys here tonight, and hope you are doing something fun, even if that's just watching and following along tonight. All right, so I have my foundation, and this is an opportunity where you could pick even a pattern paper as a background, but to say, okay, here's my canvas that I'm going to be working from. All right. Next is where we figure out the general composition of the page. This is where you could bring in a sketch, or if you're a digital scrapbooker, a layered template. This is where you start thinking about what is the general arrangement of photos and large pieces on the page. And so this is where I'm really going to figure out what is my grid situation here. So I'm wondering about doing maybe like a 6-up grid. Ooh, maybe an 8. I haven't done anything like that in a while. That might be fun. So if I do this one, then I could do maybe pattern paper in 3 of the spots, and then journaling in 1. Maybe journaling here, and maybe pattern paper here and here, and then like an embellishment here. I think that sounds good to me. Yeah, I feel good with that. So I'm not going to adhere anything down yet. I'm just going to kind of set this aside and then start on the next step. I kind of like to get the lay of the land, really get things organized first with my pattern papers, which is of course the next item here on the list, before I start adhering things down. And I would say that then I adhere pattern paper and then my photos, and then that's the flattest stuff. And then I will add on top of that. So you can start seeing how the layers build up from the bottom, and then we're going to have pattern paper and then the photos. But really the photos guide how everything is going to fit together. It's like Pat's been scrapbooking, had a long day. She's taking a break. Galen has been working on a wedding album. That's fantastic. Deborah says that she gets overwhelmed with papers. and Alice is trying to rearrange her scrap space. So let's talk about paper for a moment here, and maybe we can reduce a little bit of that overwhelm. So what I ended up doing was I headed to some older kits to see, okay, do I have any summer kits? And I did. And it just so happened that these papers really popped out at me right away. I have one that is actually fireworks. And I'm not usually a typically like very themey, but it worked out that this was kind of had a more pink tone, and there were definitely elements of pink in my photos over here. And then I saw this bright polka dot, and I just thought this went really well together, a small subtle pattern with a bigger bolder pattern. Similar color schemes will definitely have lots of color, but I think this will work when we've got relatively like dark contrasty photos with a lot of white. This is where I probably couldn't bring in a colored background because it would just be too much color. The photos are dark, there's a lot of color here, and so a colored background would just kind of almost muddy the end result. And so this will keep things crisp and I think looking really nice. So I think my approach here is I'm just going to pick one of these photos, the one that I think maybe is the most square, and I'm just going to trace around and cut a couple pieces of pattern paper out. I'm thinking like we're only going to use 2 little squares, one from each here. And sure, I could measure these and then measure on here, but why not just trace it and call it good? I'm all about not overthinking the situation. So let's find a pencil. All right. You know, and I was just thinking that 4th of July is something you scrapbook every year. Or maybe most years. Maybe some years you don't have anything to scrapbook about. But these are some big pieces of pattern paper and some really small layouts. And I actually know that I've done not the same kind of composition, but a very grid style page, because the photos from 4th of July tend to not be that great in my opinion. Some of them are taken at night. They're just, you know, parades. I tend to not have any great photos, so I want to use smaller ones because they're just not that exciting to me. And you could do a whole album just from these 2 pieces of pattern paper. If you wanted to repeat that design and do like 10 years of 4th of July, you could do it with just these 2 pieces of pattern paper. Hey Carrie, yay! I am so glad you found the chat. I know that it's sometimes hard to find the chat box when you are on a mobile device. Sometimes it's in a weird space. So Deborah asks, when you get kits, do you break them apart and group via color or keep the kits together? I tend to keep kits together for a short period of time. Let's just say 3 to 6 months. And try to create 1 or 2 things with the kit. And then at some point, I'm like, okay, I have too many kits. I need to then break them apart. And at that point, I put everything away into my stash. And there's not very many things that I actually group by color. And mostly that's because I don't know what color I would select for these pattern papers. And there's so many that are multicolored like this. It would hurt my brain to try to figure out what color that's going to go in. And particularly since so many are double-sided, it just wouldn't work. So I group my pattern papers by manufacturer, and then I group my embellishments by type. So I have stickers together and enamel dots together and chipboard pieces together. So pattern papers by manufacturer and embellishments by type. All right. Going to get my trimmer here. You know what? Oh, I don't have my scissors. They're in the bathroom because I was trimming my split ends. So I'm going to bring out the big trimmer here. Otherwise, I would just cut this with scissors. All right, here we got 1 square. Might need to trim that up a little bit. How frequently do you choose to work from a sketch or template versus starting from scratch? And which, in your opinion, is the faster or more efficient choice? I'm not sure I have the best answer for this because a lot of my layouts end up being sketches for the membership. But I'm going to try to like step outside of that business owner hat here and think about that. I like to use sketches or even just looking at other layouts to get arrangement of photos. Like for square photos, there's a couple different ways you can do this, but it's not hard to figure out that arrangement. But when I say have like a 4x6 vertical and a 4x6 horizontal, that's when I'll often want to go look at a sketch or another layout to see what are the different ways that I can put those two photo sizes together. And so if you have trouble kind of getting that base composition, I do find that it's very fast and efficient and helpful to go look at sketches or other layouts to get that inspiration for how to fit it together. I would say personally it's very rare for me to look at how someone embellished, because to me the embellishments kind of get tacked on to that core foundation, but I'm looking at how are the photos and the pattern papers arranged to kind of fit everything together on a page. So I hope that's helpful. Yeah, anyway, yeah, I hope that's helpful for you. All right, I do want to trim off, get to focus. This one, it's a little pencil on there. And because these aren't layered, I want to get that off. All right, and let's hope that this is going to be enough pattern paper to get the job done. So I'm thinking, oops, out of focus. Sorry about that, guys. I could probably move this over a little bit more. Here we go. There. Carrie's asking about the dotty paper. It is Life Love paper, which is that Tina? For Studio Calico. And the other papers, they're both Studio Calico papers. Which is soon to be a, long lost, retro item, since Studio Calico will not be producing full scrapbook kits anymore. It's hard to believe that is actually true. So I know I'm certainly going to miss some of those papers, especially the really quirky ones. All right, so I've got this paper here. Okay. I'm not 100% sure that I don't want another paper here, but we do have, I do have this one too, which has like some summer phrases on it. Or even, so this is where I tend to like use my pattern papers to kind of figure out what's going on here and how is this all going to come together. Yeah, okay. Can you hear the gears turning in my head? This is where I'm really thinking hard about what's going to happen here. So let's go on to the next one. So we've got composition, pattern paper, and then title, journaling, placement. So I think I'm pretty secure that my journaling is going to go in one of these two spots. But I want to play with some title stuff here to kind of figure that out. So I think my title is going to be America's Party. And trying to figure out if I have enough space to fit that here. I'm wondering if I need to, I think I'm going to move my whole page composition over. That staggers actually. Alright, so let's get out the handy dandy ruler. I'm feeling pretty solid on the title and where it's going to go. I just have to make sure I have enough space. So that will kind of be, that will be the deciding factor in where everything gets adhered. So what I like to do is I like to put my letter stickers directly on my ruler, and that will help me move it around and figure out exactly how much space that I have. All right, make sure you guys can see this. There we go. It is going to be long. That's why I think I might have to move everything over a little bit. Ooh, I can't do the dot on the I quite yet. There is no punctuation on here. Well, that's gonna be. I will have to go steal like an apostrophe. I guess we could say it's American Party, but I really liked America's. So what do you think, America's Party or American Party? Let's vote on that tonight. The N would be curly, and the S would just be small. I think that would be a better space. And then I just have to find an apostrophe somewhere on another letter sheet. All right, I think I will stick with that. All right. Ooh. How are we doing on time? We're at 9 o'clock, about halfway. All right, so we do need more space. That really answers the question. Everything's got to move over. All right. I'm going to adhere down the party, and we're going to get going here. Trying to see if there's like one of those, and how the clear things have a like an overlay to protect it. I'm not seeing anything peel off there, so hopefully there's nothing there. I am using my Tombow removable adhesive for this transparent piece because I find that that works the best for not being able to see it underneath my underneath the clear piece. That makes sense. Okay. All right, and this is when I will, yeah. Okay, let me get that title down. Got a little bit of wiggle room. There we go. All right. Party on America. Oh, that would be good. I don't have an, if this was more, not just a word sticker, a word thing, then I think I would do Party on America. And I would say I don't always go ahead and adhere my title. I'm usually just figuring out the placement, but in this case, the exact placement of my title is really governing where I end up adhering everything else down. So that's why I'm going ahead and putting things down here. Usually if my title is kind of over top or kind of just in a space, I will put that on last before my journaling. But this case is a little bit different. And I'm going to grab an apostrophe real quick. Okay, real quick is not happening very quickly. All right, so I found two options. I could do red, really to really emphasize it, or I do have just black puffy. I'm gonna try the red and see how it looks real quick. See if it looks like too funny, too much contrast, too big. I think it's too big. I'm not digging it. I think this is probably just a better choice. There. All right. Now let's start adhering everything else. Okay. Oops, lost a period here. I'm going to use my favorite adhesive here. This is the Kokuyo dot liner. This is my favorite permanent adhesive because it has some give. So if I don't like where I put my photo, I can still pull it up and put it somewhere else. It becomes permanent in 24 hours. Some super permanent adhesives you know, once you stick it down, you are not pulling it up. And that frustrates me to no end. So I always like to have just a little bit of wiggle room. All right, so I've got one photo down, and that's going to govern where I'm putting everything else. And I'm just trying to make an evenly spaced grid. I'm putting about exactly the same amount of space in between each photo and pattern paper. And then, of course, we're going to put journaling here. Yeah, I'll have some journaling lines. I always do my journaling last, and I don't tend to do my journaling on camera because it makes me nervous to write in front of you guys. But I always share photos of my finished layouts later so you can see the final result. If I had a photo that I thought was particularly awesome here, I probably would have printed it larger. But I also may have chosen to do pop dots on one of them. Like, I would say that this photo is my favorite, and so I could have done pop dots underneath one to kind of emphasize that photo and stuck it up a little more. Here. Got our last photo. All right. Okay, so we have our title journaling placement. Now we're going to go for large flat embellishments. Now, if I was making a page that was more of a layered layout, that's where I would start tucking these embellishments underneath and really trying to kind of give more curved edges to the different pieces of pattern paper. Because this one's a little more geometric, grid-like, I am not necessarily looking to do that. I am looking to kind of create some visual balance on the page. And I've picked a couple different larger embellishments here. I've got these cork emojis and then these little asterisks, but I thought that might be a good accent related to the fireworks. So those might be cute. I used those on a previous layout recently too. So thinking cork emoji, I could put one here or down here. Oh, I think I'm liking it down here. So maybe I'll just do, I'm gonna just go for it. I'm gonna do the heart eye emoji right here. Looks nice on that bright pattern paper. It gives more weight to the bottom of the page, particularly with this dark photo, and so it really feels like it's grounded. And then we're going to figure out these, we're going to call them firework embellishments. So maybe one here. One there. And here, right up here instead. I'm kind of not liking the color. I'm wondering maybe I wasn't thinking about using pink, but maybe the pink would go better. We don't have 3 pink ones. So 2 pink ones. What are you thinking, the blue or the pink? I can also look for something else too, because I'm not sure I love that. Maybe I just need like stars. I've got a couple different like gold stars here. Is that too much? I could do wood veneer stars maybe. Maybe the wood veneer would be better. This plastic's not vibing. Whatever whatever that actually means. So let's pull out wood veneers here for a second and see what we have. I don't have any. Well, I have cork stars. Maybe I need to do cork. Or I have wood grain. Or these gold stars. Maybe one of each, actually. Let me do that. Got these little stars too. Maybe not. All right. Use these sketchy stars. Oh, Carrie, you like these? Which ones do we like better? These gold ones. These are pretty. These are thick. I think they're wood with glitter on them. And then these are thin, like chipboard. Libby's thinking one of each. Carrie doesn't like wood grain. I was thinking that felt like outdoorsy, very like American. Let's lay these down and see what it looks like. Do we approve? I think I like it. The emoji almost seems out of place, but we're just going to think of that as like a pattern. And I think we're going to get some other of these smaller embellishments. So that's the next thing on the list. So I do make larger flat embellishments, and these ended up turning to be smaller. And then we have our small embellishments. And I love word stickers. I also love enamel dots. So I do have enamel dots here. I'm not 100% sure of using those. Maybe some of the white ones just for some texture. And then I have a couple different types of word stickers here. I liked there's one here that said watching. I thought that would be good for this. Bring out some of the blues as well. This aqua, I'm not thinking goes anymore. And then maybe this timeless here would be good. It's kind of black and blue. So just I'll put a couple of those on here. All right, thank you guys for all the voting. I always appreciate all of your insights. So these are the kind that you tear apart, which sometimes I end up butchering, but hopefully we can do okay with that tonight. Oh, this is what I really need. All right, I don't have any scissors, so I'm gonna. Well, I guess I could have used my trimmer. I am using just my little craft knife here. Okay. So we have watching. I want to put that maybe right here. That looks nice. I'm thinking I do want something here. Maybe I need a stamp here instead of another sticker. Something maybe that's like part of the title. So let's kind of sentiment. We could do cheers to us. That's kind of cool. I'm going through my stamps here. I have all of my Ellie Edwards stamps in these, I think they're not quite 6x8, 5x7 pockets. I absolutely love these. It's the only like stamp storage solution that I've really loved. So I have them here in my bin that I'm sorting through. Maybe in good times and hard times might be an appropriate sentiment here. Embrace and celebrate, maybe. I like this one. No matter what, we are family. It kind of speaks to the whole sense of the American family. I'll do that one. That's positive. I like that. It's positive, and you know, just adds a little bit more to the story there. Oops. All right. Thank you guys for watching and sticking around tonight. Let's see. We have about 10 minutes left on our technical official session, but I'm definitely going to stay until I'm all finished with this layout. One of the things that I want to talk about tonight was how in our membership we have crops like this all the time, but there's one big kind of difference, and that's instead of just seeing me, you can see all of your fellow participants. Now, of course, you can choose to not have your camera or your microphone enabled, but just imagine a grid with all these different faces and all these different desks, and you can chat live and just really have a really interactive, even more true crop-like experience. And so we have at least one of those a month. I think this month we have at least 4 on the schedule. I host several crops each month, or I host at least one each month myself. This month is our refresh retreat, and I'm hosting 2 crops, but we also have member organized crops. So members just get together in our space and have a live event and share with each other, and it's so much fun. And you know, we had one for National Scrapbook Day at the beginning of May, and I was only able to attend part of it myself, but I popped in, everybody was chit-chatting, really following along with each other's stories, and it was just, it's just such a cool experience. And so one of the reasons I wanted to do this crop tonight is to just kind of give you a taste of what that might be like. If you've been, maybe you don't have a lot of scrapbooking friends in your area and you'd like to be able to chit chat with folks and just really enjoy your hobby in the company of others who also enjoy it, you can do that as part of the Simple Scrapper membership. You may have seen we also just basically relaunched the membership with a brand new community. We're all super excited about it. It's so much fun. It's called My Simple Scrapper, and we have everything in one place. All of our members only content and all of our community. We've kind of left Facebook. We said, sorry, you're not for us anymore, and went to this community that's even accessible on your phone. So I can just pop in here to the Mighty Networks app. And then here's the Simple Scrapper member community. You can see we posted our Spark magazine just yesterday for January 1st. There's an example layout that I had in the magazine. Talk about all of our events for the month, and then there's the cover of our monthly magazine. I actually just uploaded all of the previous 54 issues to our new members area, so you can see back issues back to January of 2014 if you are so inclined to do so. We have sketches every month, and then everything is accessible from a regular website as well as our app. And so far, everyone's just loving it. So many wonderful things are being shared, and I'm just hearing from so many members how they feel reconnected to their hobbies and reconnected to this community because of the changes we've made. So that's, of course, always so happy for me to hear that. It's been a lot of exciting effort to get to this place. All right, I'm gonna put some of those enamel dots on here now. Love just tiny little circles. Maybe I'll do tiny stars. The circles. Put a dot there. I can get it off. I'm going to put another dot here. And then might do 2 on this one. There. I don't know if I like those. They look like little pimples. I don't think I like these little white dots. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I like the size of them, but I do not like the white. They're kind of strange. Kim says enamel dots are my splatter. Less mess. They can usually be rearranged. So yeah, I need to pick a different set because I don't like these. This might be like a. You know what? I'm gonna do. This is one of my favorite things to do. I'm gonna do sequins. So I can find enough here. I haven't done this in a while, but this is like my favorite trick for so long. And I like to staple my sequins on. All right, we got one sequin there. Let's see if I can get where I want it here. One there. Yes. Sequins are always the answer. Perfect. Okay. I like that a lot better. We're definitely going strong visual triangle today. I want to do one more right there like I'd planned. Cool. All right. Focus. Focus. Hello. There we go. All right. I am feeling pretty good about this. I'm going to add some journaling lines here. I think this is upside down. I don't know. That apostrophe is not the shape that I would like it to be. Oh well. Oh, the stamp. That's what I wanted to do. That's what's missing. Okay. Yes, I'm so glad you guys approve of the sequins. It's a really good choice. So I've got my stamp block here. I would say this one block has gone through so much. It's the one I use more than any other. I have some really thin acrylic pieces, but I find that my fingers get in the way, so I really like these thick ones so that I don't somehow mess it up. I've got my trusty black ink. And then we're gonna I'm actually going to take the apostrophe off because I'm a little afraid of. There we go. I was afraid that it stuck up too much. All right. I'm feeling really good about this. This was really fun. I don't know that I want to add anything else. Maybe something? No. I think it's done. Other than the journaling, I think it's really done. I am going to flip the camera, and I will definitely, when this is all finished, I will take a photo and probably post it to my Instagram stories just so you guys can see the finished page. I don't think I've done like an offset title like this in a while, but I'm super happy with this, and thought it was really fun. And yeah, awesome. Let's switch the screen now. I hope this is helpful to you guys. Let's review one more time. So we start with the photos so that we know what type of space we need on the page and kind of where we're going, the general story direction. Then we pick a foundation because you know the scope of your photos, and you pick a foundation that's going to work. And that's why, and I always recommend, if you struggle with really liking your layout and feeling like it's all gelling, I want you to try white or cream or craft, because it's those neutrals, or even black, those neutrals will help bring different patterns and colors from your photos and your papers together better. Then you're going to look at your composition. How are your basic elements, your photos, and the rest of the pieces going to start fitting on the page? And once you kind of have that idea in mind, you can pick your pattern papers and start cutting them down. And that's when I typically start adhering, is when I have papers and photos all set. Then you want to figure out your title and journaling placement, because those tend to be larger pieces on the page. Your title takes up a big space, your journaling will take up some space. So you want to figure out kind of where that's going in relationship to your main composition. And you may have already thought of some of that in step 3. Then you're going to think about your large flat embellishments, particularly like ones like this, or if you have a more layered page, how they're going to fit underneath to support and kind of soften some of those harsh corners. This page, again, was a grid type, and so I didn't really need to do any tucking underneath. Then you're going to bring in your small embellishments. These are the supporting embellishments. And you can see I went from large to medium to smaller pieces down to that last tiny little sequin. I'm always going largest to smallest and kind of layering up from there, with the smallest pieces being those kind of scattered accents, as Kim had mentioned. And then finally, add your journaling and actually do that. Finish your page, take a photo of it, share it with others, and that's your 8 steps to a finished page. All right, let's go back to my face and we can say goodnight. Okay, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. If you do have any questions about the membership, we do have a couple minutes left. We have lots of members here as well who can answer for you. You are also welcome to email me at any time, Jennifer@simplescrapper.com, or direct message me on Instagram. Those are 2 of the best ways to contact me. I'm an open book. I'll share anything you want to know. Again, we have our refresh retreat coming up this month, July 12th through 18th. Our theme is Playful Productivity, and we've got 7 daily activities to really get you back in the groove, really excited about your scrapbooking. And I honestly think this is one of our best sessions yet. I wrote the entire class content when I was on a plane, and I'm super excited about all the activities that we have in store for you. And as I said before, we do crops like this, except with more faces and more voices, every single month inside of the membership. So if it's something that might be interesting to you, then I hope you check it out. And of course, for all of our members who are already loyal to us, thank you so much for being a part of our community. You are what make all of this possible and what make our community so special. Libby says, without Facebook albums, how do we share what we're working on? So there is a topic in there called Show and Share, and that topic is designed exactly for you to show any of your pages. So whether you're in the app, and I can show you that real quick, whether you're in the app or on the website, you can add something new. So here's my screen, and I'm going to click Add Post. And it says share what's on your mind, just like on Facebook. You can choose something from your photo library. So let's see, here's something, a picture from my desk earlier. You can type what you want and then press post. And when you press post, it will ask you what topic you want to include it in. And that's when you would pick the show and share topic. All right. I hope that is helpful. Okay. Any other questions tonight? Whew, I'm feeling so good about this page. It's been a couple weeks since I actually made a page since I've been out of town, but I am so excited about this. I'm glad to get back in the groove with you guys. I have lots of pages that I want to make. I want to continue working on my 2018 album. I'm doing 6x8. I'm having so much fun with that. I actually just photographed some of those layouts recently because these are the inspiration for this month's member sketches. And this size has just been so fun to work in, so easy. It's always easy to just like fill up the page in that size. And so I'm eager to get back into that. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you guys tonight. Again, thank you so much for coming. My name is Jennifer Wilson. I am your guide at Simple Scrapper. And if this community is something that you'd like to be more part of, I hope to see you around again soon. Take care, guys. Bye.